So today I'm going to try something new that I've never heard of, but I freeze-dried some watermelon before, so I reconstituted it. I actually used a little bit of milk to reconstitute it, and I'm going to try making a watermelon pudding. I have no idea how this is going to turn out, so let's just find out. It's got 2 cups of milk, half a cup of flour, 1 cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons, this is probably a bit more, but I like my butter, of butter, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And what we do is we're going to put the flour in the pot, and we're going to mix it with a little bit of milk first, because we want to make like a paste before we throw all the milk in. And the reason why is that way you don't end up with globs, because who wants globby milk? I mean, globby milk. Nobody wants globby milk. That's called cottage cheese. I mean, who wants globby pudding? Nobody wants lumps in their pudding. Unless it's flavor lumps, like strawberry, bits of strawberry or bits of chocolate. Okay, so I've got all that mixed up nice and smooth. We're going to add the sugar. You can actually mix the sugar and flour together and do it that way. It's up to you. It's the way I usually do it, but I'm having a different kind of day, so I'm doing it a different kind of way. There we go. And I'm going to move this to the stove until it thickens up a little bit, and then I'll put the watermelon stuff in. And when it gets to the thickness that I want, I will put, right after I take it off the stove, I'll put the butter and the vanilla in. Again. Okay, so it's starting to thicken. I can feel it. You can't see it, but I can feel it. So I'm going to pull it off the heat for a second and add the watermelon. Got to keep stirring until... I got it. Oh, see, you can see it thickening up now. See? Definitely getting thicker.
Oh, yeah.
It's pink. I may not have to put it back on the heat.
No, it's pretty thick.
Okay, so we've got our pudding to the thickness we want. I don't know if you can see this or not, but it's leaving ribbons on top that stay for about a second or so, and as it cools off, it'll get thicker. So we're going to add in our vanilla. Usually this would be about a tablespoon, but I don't want to overwhelm the flavor of the watermelon. So we got to put the butter in there because, you know, it's butter and yummy. Because we use real butter. There we go. I don't know if you can see, the butter's just melting and getting in there, and it's making it all the much better. Just adds a little bit of extra richness to it. So if you don't want to do butter, you don't have to. You could add just a tiny bit of a little bit more milk or something. If you want to add a little bit more richness, like a higher fat milk. There we go. Now we're going to pour it into our pan. And of course we have a little bit in the pan to give a taste. So I've never tried this. Let's see. Come on, Chris.
You're gonna.
Aw. It's actually pretty good. It's better than you would think, right? And that's warm.
It's not too bad.
And that's warm even. Mm.
It's interesting.
It's, yeah.
Yeah. The aftertaste is really quite good.
So this is going to go into the freeze dryer. I'm going to make a chocolate pudding next the exact same way, except I'm going to use, instead of using the watermelon, I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of the expensive cocoa powder that Chris bought.
Dutch processed.
Dutch processed cocoa powder.
The best cocoa powder.
So.
Higher fat content.
But yeah, it's going to be a 1/4 cup of this. But other than that, the exact same recipe. Except for 1 tablespoon of vanilla instead of a teaspoon.
There you go.
Making chocolate pudding from scratch. So that's going to be, again, 2 cups of milk, 1 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of flour, 2 tablespoons or a little bit more if you're else of butter, 1 tablespoon of vanilla, and this is 1/3 cup of Dutch chocolate.
Dutch processed.
Dutch processed chocolate. Sorry, Chris can tell you all about the chocolate. Come here, Chris. Tell him all about the chocolate.
Nothing to know. It's just processed different. It's got a higher fat content.
He says it's the best chocolate.
It is the best.
So we're going to put the flour in. We're going to put the sugar in. And because this is a powder, we're going to put it in too, because otherwise it'll clump when you put it into the pudding. Those out of the way. Mix it all up. And again, these two go in at the very, very end. And if you're wondering why I always do this, it's because if I put a little bit in and mix it up, if I put a little bit in and then I mix it up and I get it like this where it's kind of like a paste, then I can add a little bit more and a little bit more, and I don't end up with lumps in my pudding, because we don't want lumps in pudding. Especially not flour lumps. Okay. This is smelling good already.
I can smell it from here. I'm 10 feet away.
Guys, it is smelling good. I kind of want to eat it now. Who cares if it has raw flour, right? You just want to mix it until it's nice and smooth. Oh, that's good. There we go. See, so now I got it nice and smooth. I can add the rest of the milk in here and I won't have any lumps. That is something that my mama taught me, and I'm fairly sure my grandma taught her that. So, because my grandma was a really good cook. Even my dad, 30 years after he divorced my mom, after my parents got divorced, even my dad admitted my grandma was a really good cook. So, and I just want to make sure that there's none hiding out in the crease of the pan before I move it onto the heat. And I cook it on like a medium heat until it gets warm, and then I put it on a relatively high heat until it thickens up. Okay, so we're gonna move to the heat now.
I see you have your stove buddy at your feet. This is Brand's favorite corner.
Yeah. And East is right there at your feet, so we step around our dogs in our kitchen. There's no keeping them out of the kitchen. So I cook it on like a medium heat. We go to high. I just have it on 5. It's on a medium heat until it gets a little warm. Just because I don't want to go straight to high and curdle the milk.
I did not know that.
So, that's what my grandma always said. You want to get it nice and warm before you heat it up to on a higher temperature. I'm just doing what my grandma says. I am not a trained cook by any means. Half the stuff I do is experimental, or find a recipe and then I change the recipe. I'm good at finding recipes and changing them to what I want. Okay, so I'm starting to feel it thicken at the bottom. You do want to stir. You don't have to whisk it. You want to stir it constantly. I just use the whisk so I don't dirty up another fork or spoon or whatever. But that's just me. And it's starting to thicken up. And it goes fast. Once it really, really gets going, it'll start thickening up fast. Okay, so I made this really nice and thick. I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but definitely got that ribbon going. And it's sitting on top for, well, it's still sitting on top. It's not sinking in. So here we go. We're going to put the butter in. We're going to put the vanilla in. Oh, it's going to taste so good. There we go.
Smells so good. That one's not going to make it out on the trail with us.
There we go. Yes, it is. Oh, doesn't that look delicious? Look at that.
Smells awesome.
Oh, the smell reminds me of my grandma's chocolate pie. I don't know if any of y'all else had chocolate pie growing up. Chocolate pie with meringue on top, and she always did a really, really pretty meringue design. I can't do a pretty meringue design to save my life. My grandma could. Oh, chocolate pie. That's all I smell right now. It's grandma's chocolate pie. I may have to try making that sometime, or make it like a tart. However, we'll have to see if it freeze dries. Chocolate does not freeze dry well. So we'll have to see if we can get this to freeze dry. If not, I'm sure we will have a fun time eating it.
Yes.
So, it's kind of sad that chocolate doesn't freeze dry well. But I'm hoping we can get this too, since it's really not all that much chocolate. As it is, as it was milk and butter, and, well, the butter doesn't help. Yeah. But there we go. So we're going to put these in the freeze dryer with the cracked slaw and the rhubarb sticks that you saw in previous videos, and along with the watermelon pudding in previous videos. And I'm going to make some rhubarb pudding out of the rhubarb sticks. So we'll see you later.
Okay, as in previous videos, got to turn on the freeze dryer because it needs 15 minutes to cool itself down before we even get started. Takes a minute. There we go. There we go. We are loaded up. Now, we didn't have time or the freezer space actually to pre-freeze these, so this is the first time we're using this machine without pre-freezing, and it's just going to add to the time that it takes. So we'll see how much time it actually adds. We usually let it freeze minimum 12 hours.
Hi, we're back by the magic of YouTube and I guess television. We have now freeze-dried the watermelon pudding, the chocolate pudding, the cracked slaw, and rhubarb. The rhubarb I will also powder. We're going to powder the puddings, but first we got to weigh everything, except the rhubarb.
Took about 28 hours for everything to be done.
So 10:29 for the watermelon.
Oh.
Yeah, I gotta crack it like a freaking ice tray. 10:60 for the chocolate pudding. And the cracked slaw, which I'm sorry, that is just the name of the recipe. 8:40. So I'm just going to bag this one. Oh, look, this is the way it's supposed to look when you get it freeze dried right.
Awesome.
See, look at this.
Just powdery, not powdery, but pieces. Awesome.
We're going going to use the bags that we got with Harvest Rate because we are out of other bags and we're not getting new bags till tomorrow. But we're actually switching to airtight containers so that we can have, if we ever feel like not cooking, we can have the stuff for dinner, you know, have a bowl here, have a bowl there. This does not stand up. I don't like that. This thing is a Canon phono, best thing in the world. Y'all can let me know if you want me to show you when I make my rose petal and rhubarb jelly and my dandelion and rhubarb jelly. Just let me know in the comments, and I can show you how I make those. If you want to know, they will not be freeze dried because it will be canned. So when you do get your Harvest Rate, it comes with a sealer, which is what we'll have to use on this bag. Unless we just got our airtight containers.
Yes, we did.
Which I think we did.
Yes, we did. just got delivered by Amazon.
Literally just dropped off at the door.
But we need to wash it. They will need to be washed before we can use it.
I need an extra hand because this bag don't stand up. Well, I can make it stand up. There we go. Okay.
You want me to get the sealer now?
Yeah,
I can
the
seal that
sealer.
when you do that.
Well, no, we can show them with the sealer. They haven't seen the sealer. This was just our leftover. We made 2.5 pounds of crack slaw, 2 bags of coleslaw, 2.5 pounds of meat, and we have a 17-year-old boy in the house, and it kind of went bye-bye. So this is what we have left.
Okay.
So this is the sealer that you get with Harvest Rate. And it's on like half. Yeah, what does it need to be on?
No, for just the straight miler, it should be on about 5.5 or 6. And when the light goes off, it comes on, it goes off, and you're done.
But we're gonna seal it to last just to be.
Double seal it, yeah. Awesome.
There we go.
Okay.
So it's done.
And I can move it.
And that's that. The pudding we're gonna put in. Actually, everything else will be put in jars. I did not put an oxygen tab in here, but that's okay.
We're going to
I should have put an oxygen tab in here, but it's okay because it will be transferred to the airtight bins when I put an oxygen tab in that. So.
That'll be probably today yet.
Maybe.
Sure. Today or tomorrow.
And now I gotta rinse this off. Out. Because nobody wants coleslaw in their pudding.
Or putting in their coleslaw?
No, because we're doing the pudding next. And so this is the watermelon and vanilla pudding. I'm actually going to make some pudding with all of this watermelon and a little bit of lemon juice to see if that tastes more watermelon-y.
Melonish?
But I don't know how to say that word.
Melanated? I don't know.
And this feels like it's not done.
Does it? Is it
It's
sticky?
sticky.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to run that through one more time.
And if this is not done, that is not done. Okay, so these two will get run through, but I can turn this.
I can fix your jigsaw puzzle while you're doing that.
You don't need to.
My OCD tells me I have to. Where's the picture for this jigsaw puzzle?
There isn't one.
I'm triggered.
And this is why it's a jarring. It's a canning file. So it fits in the mouth of all the cans. The jarring cans. Or the canning jars. There we go. And if you've never heard of rhubarb meringue, I had not ever heard of it either. I decided to make it one year for my dad. And it actually came out really good. I didn't use rhubarb powder. I didn't use rhubarb powder. I actually just blitzed up cooked up some rhubarb and then blitzed it up and cooked it the way you would a lemon meringue. There we go. So this, I'll just add whatever amount of water I want to add to it to reconstitute it, and I would just reconstitute it slowly so that I can get the mixture that I want. I'll put that in there. We're going to grab an oxygen absorber. Boink. That was brilliant. So, and it just says rhubarb because, again, we're not weighing it or anything. We don't have any, we're not going to reconstitute it that way. So, there we go. And we got to put the puddings back. So we do have, because I can use this tray. So this is our supper. It's just ground beef with rice, and it's got cabbage and carrots and onions and broccoli. Have onions in it?
Onions, yeah.
I think it's got onions in it.
Yeah.
But we don't have 17-year-old boy with us this week, so no hollow leg. So this is not going to disappear. And we have already pulled out our lunch for tomorrow. And this is just, if we put it in the refrigerator, it would just go bad. It wouldn't get eaten. It would just go bad, and we'd throw it out and waste all the food. But with the freeze dryer, we can freeze dry it, and it'll be good for years to come. We can use it during backpacking, or let's just say, I don't know, one of us doesn't feel good or we don't want to cook. We can just pull out a serving amount, add hot water, and boom, we got dinner. We don't got to worry about it. So, and this is actually would be really good for hiking too because of the protein, the beef in it. It's got a pretty large amount of beef. But here we go. There we go. So. I'm just trying to spread it out evenly. It's almost, it actually is almost like the cracked slaw, except for it doesn't have the ginger or the red peppers in it. I'm assuming the meat was just cooked with salt and pepper and soy sauce.
And seasoning salt.
So seasoned salt and soy sauce and pepper.
Copious amounts of soy sauce. After I put the rice in.
So this, what this does is it saves us probably about 5 servings of food that we would have ended up throwing out.
That's easily $20 worth of food sitting there.
Yeah, especially with the price
With the ground beef,
lately.
yeah.
So we don't have to throw it out. So this is another reason why we got the freeze dryer. I mean, it was primarily for my GDT trip, Great Divide hiking trip next year. Because I'll need breakfast, lunch, and dinner for all of the nights, and it's about 66 nights, I think, or 66 days to hike it. So, you know, this just helps us. It's cheaper. And this way we can also save food and have it for backpacking when we need it. It weighs 1747 grams. We always weigh in grams because grams is more accurate than ounces. There we go. So Chris is wanting to take some freeze-dried berries when him and Michaela go hiking, and we have a plastic jar so it's lightweight, so they won't crush like my strawberries did. Not that my strawberry didn't come to good use.
It made a very good pudding.
There we go. Okay, so we got the berries got to be redone. They're just super, super sweet. Everything else is done. So we'll get this out of the way and just get this one done. We're just gonna put this. This is just the beef. It's about a pound of beef with cabbage and carrots and soy sauce and onions. This is something that we make on a regular basis just because it's quick and easy. I forgot to weigh it. You'll have to forgive me. Today has been a, you know, like the Monday after or the Tuesday after the long weekend is like a double Monday. Well, today has been like a double Monday for me. It's been rather tough. So it's $10.95. We'll remember that and have, oh, we've got it right here, so we'll write it down. Because we need to measure it in the tray because I measured it in the tray before. And this is how we know how much water to add back. So, 100, it's going to be 652 grams of water would need to be added to redo all of this. And then we can start by weighing this, because this is probably, we'll go with 5 servings. This is 100. Clear that. Hello, so we finally got this out and it feels light enough to actually be dry. Let's see. Yep, cracks in 2. Need the funnel.